Pierre Wache is the technical director at Oracle Red Bull Racing. He's responsible for the car that Isack Hadjar and, more importantly, 4-time world champion Max Verstappen have to drive. Whenever Verstappen finishes a race a bit lower on the grid, the fans start pointing at Wache, saying he should be sacked and that Adrian Newey was much better. Recently, at the race in Miami, the RB22 showed pace again thanks to a few aggressive upgrades, a Macarena wing and a fix to a mistake. A mistake Pierre Wache apologized for publicly. Let's find out what these changes were and exactly what the French genius said sorry for. I'm Wimbo. Here's 3 seconds to leave a like. In Miami, Red Bull's gap to the fastest teams Mercedes and McLaren was reduced by a whole second. The team from Milton Keynes was behind quite a bit in China and Japan. Max Verstappen didn't even get into Q2 in Japan due to some big problems. But a big load of upgrades, which worked really well, brought them back into the mix again. In Miami, Max put the car on the front row in qualifying. In the race he had a spin at the start, but he came back through the field after an early pit stop and the pace looked really good. Max Verstappen admitted he felt there was something wrong with the car as early as the Barcelona testing, but they couldn't quite pinpoint where the issue came from. In Miami they brought a heavily revised pair of side pods and a whole new floor. The issue, Verstappen pointed out, has something to do with the steering system. Red Bull took some time to address this issue and Pierre Wache explained why. First we had to make sure that he had an issue. Then it was about identifying where it was coming from, and that takes a long time. And after that it was about fixing the problem. So Red Bull didn't take any half measures after they had established there was a big issue. They replaced the complete steering rack and a bunch of supporting components that went along with the steering system. During the filming day in Silverstone in April, things already felt significantly better. Wache explained that they had found the root cause a while ago, and he talked about what they did during the April break. He was asked if they only had discovered the problem in April. He said a little bit before that. But the break gave us time to produce the parts, I would say. Otherwise, in Bahrain and Jeddah, we would not have had the parts. It looks like the 2 cancelled races were a blessing in disguise. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see the problems in the Middle East resolved. And I hate the way things are now. It's just that from a sporting perspective, the teams in front of Red Bull could have scored a load of points in the 2 cancelled races, and now they didn't. Red Bull did a hell of a job getting the issue fixed. And the whole season is looking much better already. Still, Pierre Wache felt he had to apologize to Max and Isack and the rest of the team. Here's what he said. I'm sorry that we didn't fix it before. We tried multiple stuff and it didn't work. Some parts also took a long time to arrive and I think the engineering team did a very good job of achieving it. I really rate Wache for saying this. It takes a man with confidence and good intentions to say this. We know how inflated egos get in F1 when there's success. Upgrades are planned for the race in Montreal, Canada. I've heard it's going to be a few minor changes, but every little helps. The weight problem is also being sorted out relatively soon. A major upgrade is planned for the British Grand Prix or the Austrian Grand Prix. This season's second half will be very interesting, especially thanks to another interesting upgrade they brought and installed successfully. The Macarena wing. Did they steal that concept from Ferrari? Most of Red Bull's upgrades, like the new floor, are invisible to the viewers at the track and at home. The rear wing, which rotated all the way through, is something that caught the eye of everyone who enjoys the sport. From what I've heard, this wing and its system are working a lot better than Ferrari's version. Now, I'm not a YouTuber who dives into the technical side too much. I just want to know if it works and if it doesn't fail. So far, it has done neither of these things. One thing Red Bull tried to make clear is that it wasn't copied from Ferrari. And this system works differently. It apparently rotates in a different direction than the Scuderia's wing. Well, my experience is that it's always good to go in a different direction from Ferrari, especially when it comes to strategy. Wache said the following about the rotating wing. I think we started in November. We tried to introduce it in Bahrain and then in Melbourne. but we had some issues to make it work. We tried again in Suzuka, but we kept struggling a lot, and now it works. It's a long process to make this type of device happen. He also talked about the challenges it brought, because the time you have to open and close it is limited, and it's a longer distance that is not exactly what we used to. We also didn't anticipate some issues because it's a new system. Maybe it was our fault, things that we had to fix. And after fixing, it takes time on top of the normal development of the car. To me, it sounds like Wache and his team are leaving no stone unturned to get Red Bull, and for me more importantly Max, to the top again. They have the engine to shine. Now they need the car. That next Verstappen win is gonna feel so good. I have faith in Wache again. I'm sorry I suggested they should replace him with Jody Eggerton last year. Sometimes I come out with a load of nonsense. But I'm not the only one. I mentioned in the intro that as soon as the car is not 100%, the fans start pointing at Pierre Wache. Indeed, he was always in the shadow of Adrian Newey and most likely never received the credit he deserved for the bits he designed or improved on the cars they built together. When it was time to be in the limelight, the car started having issues. I'm not saying he was blameless on those issues. I remember very well that even at the end of 2023, Verstappen and Perez complained about the car problems. But nothing was done out of fear it would mess things up. In hindsight, that was a mistake. It could have saved the Constructors' title in 2024 and perhaps Checo's seat as well. I hope they learned that they should always listen to their drivers, especially Max, when it comes to the feel of the car. Especially since the wind tunnel they use is really old and it shows different data depending on the weather. In 2027 there will be a brand new wind tunnel. That should solve that particular problem. Furthermore, I believe people should get the space to make mistakes and learn. Newey wasn't a winning designer from day one. He impressed, but he also made plenty of bad cars. I've been a business owner for 20 years and I shudder when I think back to the early years and the mistakes I made. But I always analyze what went wrong and adapted things. That's why I hope Pierre Wache has taken notes from every single thing that went wrong in the past and uses that knowledge to prevent it from happening again. We need a few more Max Verstappen titles before he's off to another series, right? Thank you for watching till the end and please subscribe. I love seeing those numbers grow. I also have a nice group of loyal members who get videos a little earlier and some behind the scenes stuff. You can support this little channel if you join as well. Take care now. Doei doei.